and welcome to Kano Spotlight. I am Ibrahim Misa. On this week's episode of the program, Kano State Governor donates 15 million naira to some young talents in the state. Also on this week's episode, we bring you a special interview segment featuring the Kano State Governor as we discuss his achievements. These are many more awards we have for you, so fasten your seatbelt because you don't want to miss any of it. We'll go on a short break now. When we return, the program continues in a moment. Kano State Governor Ganduje has donated 15 million naira to young innovators and entrepreneurs who showcased their projects at the recently concluded 2018 Northern Regional Finals of Student Innovation Challenge, which took place at Bayero University, Kano. The event was witnessed by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo amongst other dignitaries. Nigerian Air Force aircraft touched down at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, with Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and Governor Abdullahi Ganduje on board. The visit to Kano by the Vice President was to attend the 2018 Northern Regional Finals of Student Innovation Challenge, which took place at Bayero University, Kano. Hundreds of students welcomed the dignitaries with cheering songs of support. Bayero University's Angote Business School gathered the talents.
That the Student Innovation Challenge is without doubt a much-needed intervention in this country. Given the twin developmental challenges of unemployment, especially youth unemployment, and poverty that Nigeria is currently battling with, which, by the way, this administration inherited, we cannot give our much impact-minded Vice President enough accolades for championing and doggedly pursuing reforms and policies that support private sector-led growth, youth entrepreneurship, and innovation. And of course, the one innovation that has become synonymous with our Vice President's name, ease of doing business in Nigeria.
Don't stop networking. You can do it alone. Try to share your idea with others. Make presentation like what we witnessed here. Listen to constructive criticism. You will get something that will motivate you build on what you have been doing.
The event was organized to encourage young innovators who put ideas into reality, metamorphosing into products displayed to the Vice President by talents.
Industrial design is a technology that has never been seen anywhere in any part of the world. And also, I'm happy to introduce the hybrid thermodynamic generator to you. It is a generator that is capable of generating up to 1,200 watts, which can be used to power many appliances in the home and can also be used to charge your phone and do other things.
Store it, process it, package it, so that the period of 4 months, this particular fix is going to supplement it, so that no farmer, no pastoral Fulani man will be heading to the riverine areas, thereby causing problems. You hear in Nigeria, others farmers flashes.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo encouraged young Nigerian innovators and entrepreneurs to remain focused and dogged in their efforts.
About 2 months ago, I was at the University of Lagos to attend the Southwest Regional Final of the Students Innovation Challenge. At that event, I said, and quote again, in the past, Nigeria's billionaires were traders and oil and gas moguls, but in the next few years, the billionaires from Nigeria will be techies. There will be people like you who are seated here. Listening to the great ideas you have pitched today, I'm even more convinced. And I have absolutely no doubt that a good number of tomorrow's billionaires are seated right here. And I'm not talking of the Dangotes, I'm talking of those of you who are seated here. The Students Innovation Challenge, an initiative of the federal government, in collaboration with private sector players, offers a platform for us to identify and support innovative, technology-driven business ideas and ventures across Nigerian universities.
First of all, we have to thank you.
Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje, who hosted the Vice President, expressed delight at the performances of the young innovators. He donated the sum of 15 million to the entrepreneurs for the development of their new projects.
Many innovations died down like that. Those innovators were unknown, those innovators were not motivated, and those innovators just fizzled away like that. But with this kind of program, you find these young students, young innovators, they come up so that they can maximize the use of their potentialities. We thank the federal government for this very important program. Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa, but the problem of population is that if care is not taken, our population will be a liability. But if we are innovative, our population will be an asset. The way we are moving, I think our population in Nigeria will be an asset. There are many countries in this world that do not have a single drop of oil, and yet their economies are well developed. So the way we are moving, our economy will move very fast because of this input of innovation.
With the donation made by the Kano governor, these young talents are hopeful that their future will be brighter. Kano State government has inaugurated a committee to steer the activities of the Open Government Partnership (OGP) and launch a state action plan in the state. The inauguration ceremony took place at the Coronation Hall, Kano Government House, with key players from the judiciary, security agencies and civil society groups in attendance. Kano State government officials, the judiciary, civil society groups, security agents, officials of the Open Government Partnership (OGP) and the media converged on Coronation Hall at the Kano Government House to witness the inauguration of a committee set to steer activities of the OGP in the state. The government also launched a state action plan for the OGP. The aim of this event is to enhance effective promotion of transparency and accountability in governance by the Kano State Governor, Abdullahi Ganduje.
When the technical committee was formed, and you are aware, I'm sure, that the Ministry of Information, for the fact that you are talking of accessibility to government, the Ministry of Information is very, very key as far as this issue is concerned. The issue of Information Act is also there. Therefore, the governor directed that we should come up with our action plan. And I'm happy to announce, as you must have heard from developing partners as well as the civil society organization.
The committee is like a government of the principles, of the OGP principles. It's a governing body of the Open Government Partnership Initiative in Kano. You are aware that His Excellency have signed an executive order. That executive order gives the committee, or rather the secretariat, a legal vacuum or legal instrument to operate.
Special advisor to the president on justice sector reform, who is also the OGP national coordinator, who was represented by Barrister Chidimma Ehechuku and many other participants at the event, say, with the objective of laying a solid foundation for the government to operate efficiently and within the principles of transparency, accountability and prudence, the OGP is pivotal.
In your action plan are co-created to be unique, ambitious and homegrown, with great emphasis on implementing these commitments. Now, these commitments, just like has been presented, are homegrown, based on your contextual realities.
Our appeal and call to Kano State government is pleased to ensure the full implementation of this state action plan that we are launching, and also to ensure the passage of relevant key laws like the fiscal responsibility and public procurement laws.
The OGP is an excellent undertaking My organization have been part and parcel of the program right from inception.
Kano has made history today, and you see, we have followed Kano's process from the start, and we are very impressed.
Kano State is amongst the few states that has since signed the Executive Order of Open Government Partnership Initiative. It is now time for the special interview segment of Kano Spotlight. We'll be meeting with the Kano State Governor, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, right after this break. Please stay with us.
I was very, very prepared, and I'm happy that I'm facing the challenges squarely. You know, I'm saying that because I was Commissioner of Works, Housing and Transport in Kano State for 6 years. Later on, I was Deputy Governor in Kano State for 80 years. So, you know, I have known I know the train, especially the Kano State government, the civil service, and the other, you know, all the different strata of the society in Kano State. I'm conversant with them, different segment of the society, the civil service, the ulama, the business community, youth, women, all this fully conversant with dealing with such, you know, part of the society. So the civil service is the backbone of the administration, and I was in the civil service for many years in Kano State, so I'm conversant with the operations of the government. Well, I thought, you know, the orientation of the civil service was the first thing that came into my mind, because people took things to be business as usual. You know, there was no target in the achievement, no achievement motive. People were not used to setting target for themselves and achieve a result, because the civil servants, they don't have time frame of what they do, but we as politicians, we have time frame, and therefore we must have targets. So my first challenge was to put people in the right position, so that whatever program we have, we put a target for it. And it took time for civil servants to become conversant with that kind of arrangement. But I'm happy that people are now, you know, accustomed to the way, the style we manage affairs of the state. My giant strides, certainly, you know, Kano State being a cosmopolitan city, Kano being a mega city, Kano being the most state with the most population in the country, we have to look into the issues of urbanization and issues of the rural areas. So in the issues of urbanization, the first thing that is very, very important is the transport system, especially road infrastructure. So we, first of all, revise the Kano Metropolitan Master Plan, because it is based on that we'll be able to see how the transporting system can be improved. So we conducted a survey and found out those areas that we have a lot of traffic jam, traffic holdup, and then we had to introduce a special design in order to take care of that. So we introduced this issue of underpass, issue of flyover, you know, in various parts of the metropolitan Kano. So that was the first challenge that we took and that we examined, and I'm happy that we have completed some of the underpasses, and we are doing another one now, and also the flyover, which is about 2 kilometers. That one too is about to be completed. So in terms of road infrastructure, I think that is the one that we paid a lot of we consider it very, very important so that we improve the transportation system within the Kano metropolitan. And for the rural areas too, we undertook a number of road reconstruction, road rehabilitation in order to connect towns and villages and markets. And also we introduced another system where we make sure that those towns and villages that are not accessible, we introduce a new system, whereby we have to provide culverts and bridges and laterite roads so that those areas will be accessible. So in terms of road infrastructure, really we consider the urban population and the rural population as well. Well, electricity supply certainly is a very important issue, especially for a commercial nerve center of the north, where we have a number of industries that are not operating because of lack of electricity. So two approaches that we considered very, very important. One is the hydroelectricity from the two dams, which we have been on for the last 3 years. And I'm happy to know that phase one, that is the Tiga hydroelectricity, will be ready by end of October or end of November, according to the contractor. And the other one, that is the Chalawa hydroelectricity, that will take a much longer time, maybe around around March next year. And also the evacuation, which we have already awarded the contract, that one too, work is going on. So you can see that if we succeed in completing that project, our waterworks, which consumes a lot of electricity, and then some of our industries also will be able to get part of it, and our street lights will be able to get part of it. That is one approach. Another approach is that those who are interested to invest, especially in solar, production of solar energy, we provided 4 foreign companies with free land. We gave them the certificate of occupancy, we paid compensation, and they are now working with the federal government in order to see the modalities so that they have already started surveying, but still there are some issues that they need to iron out with the federal government in terms of the production and the sales of the electricity. So we believe by the time we complete our hydroelectricity and also this solar energy, which is kind of by private sector, our industries will be able to operate, I think, 100%. But for the time being, we are managing. But NEPA, the electricity supply has improved because we complained a lot, and I believe we get almost 17 to 20 hours now of electricity here in Kano. But still, that is not our target. Our target is to have 24 hours all the time throughout the year, and we believe in a moment we shall be able to get that. First of all, when we came in, the revenue was down because the system that was used to collect the revenue really was outdated, and we could not rely on that. That was collecting collecting the revenue by civil servants. So what we did was to get an independent revenue collection institution, and therefore all the civil servants, we took them back to the head of service, and then we advertised in order to get the best brains, those young people with experience and knowledge on how to collect taxes. We formed the Kano State Board of Internal Revenue, headed by an executive chairman, and it is really an independent body. So that body, that means that institution also is able to employ some consultants, sub-consultants who are also connecting, and also a lot of sensitization, especially the stakeholders, the business community, those with the industries, those with commercial concerns. The board had to go into dialogue with them, and also a lot of advocacy. But most importantly is for the people to know, if the tax is being collected, what do we do with the tax that we collect. I think that is another important aspect which we realize is very, very important. So all our capital projects, which we are using our internally generated revenue, we put a signboard, this is taxpayers' money. And people are convinced that yes, they know we are making the best of the money that we collect from them. So that one is a very, very motivating factor, and many people are coming forward. You see, when we came in fact, less than 2% of those who are supposed to pay tax have been registered for tax paying. Up till now, we have a lot to do, because even now we have less than 10% of those who are supposed to pay taxes. But you know, it's something gradual. Even in advanced countries, tax collection is not easy, but people are accepting it. I believe since it has increased drastically, tremendously, what we are collecting is increasing. So there is really hope, and the board is doing a lot, and the board is independent anyway. We had to send them to Lagos. Lagos has a success story in terms of tax collection. They spent some weeks there, and they came back and they put up some, memos which we approved, and things are working well. But I'm not saying that we have reached the optimum. We are still, at the lower cadre in terms of collection of the tax, but it's gradual. This is a very important question. First of all, when you are talking of foreigners, you are talking of commerce, you must talk of peace and stability. We have worked very hard to ensure that there is peace and stability in the state. We work with the security agencies closely. We work with the communities who provide information. At one time, the issue was that of Boko Haram, but Alhamdulillah, Mr. President Muhammad Buhari has been able to fight Boko Haram, and for the last 3 years, we have not got any, fallout of Boko Haram. And then the issue of cattle rustling, that one too, we are able to solve. The issue of armed robbery, we are able to control. The issue of kidnapping, we are being able to control because we bought some gadgets, that are assisting us. So you can, and also we have this interface, dialogue where there is understanding between various communities, ethnic groups, and the religious bodies, so that we avoid having some misunderstanding among the population. I think that one is very, very important. So you can see that we are able to maintain peace and stability, and that is forming the foundation for commercialization and attracting foreign investors. And secondly, we look at our markets as well. We see how we can modernize our markets, especially with the problem of fire outbreak, and see how we can, reduce that to the barest minimum. We restructure some of the markets. For example, the Kantinkwali market, which is a textile market for West Africa. We had to restructure that market. We have to provide road network, street lights, and also those who are selling their wares along the road, we had to provide them with a sufficient, what we call Antebra Mall, that is a mall for those who are putting their wares by the roadside. And you can see that that market has improved. And the Sabangali market, where we build a new fire station, and also with the help of the federal government, in conjunction with Kano state government, of course, we have provided, solar energy, because using the generators that was, caused a lot of fire outbreak. So you can see that we have modernized some of the markets, and also because the markets are so much choked up because of population, we succeeded in getting an investor to start constructing the Kano Economic City along Zaria Road. Work has already started. It's a multi-billion naira project. It's a PPP project, and I'm happy that work is going there. And a number of traders have already indicated their intention to move into that new market when it is completed. And also, we formally invite those who would like to invest here in Kano. Like we traveled to China, we got the Rui Group, which is the biggest textile, manufacturing concern in China, and they were able to come here. They found one of our company, or textile company, which is going down. The company is owned by a private person, and a lot of loan is on the company. So they have reached an agreement with the Bank of Industries. Bank of Industries also is, is taking part in the discussion. So now they have reached an agreement that company, the biggest textile company in West Africa, will be taken over by Rui Group from China. So you can see that that is how the commercial nature of Kano is improving, and we are happy with that.
I hope you had a swell time this week on the program. We hope to bring you more exciting stories from Kano State. I remain your regular host, Ibrahim Isa. I'll see you next week.